Hello to the outside world. I got my boy Owen here, and today we're gonna yap it up.
We'll be talking 9/11, one of the most defining events of the 21st century America, and the War on Terror, the direct response to 9/11.
Yeah, facts, bro. Where we getting started? Bleep.
9/11 occurred on September 11th, 2001, when 4 planes were hijacked by 19 members of jihadist organization Al-Qaeda. 2 of the planes crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City, collapsing 4 of the 7 buildings, including the infamous Twin Towers. A third plane crashed into the west wall of the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, and the fourth last plane crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Passengers on the last plane figured out their plane was being used as the medium for a terrorist attack and revolted, causing the plane to crash early and never reach their target. It is unknown where the aircraft was going, though it is widely believed it was headed for the U.S. Capitol or the White House. A total of 2,977 people were killed as a result from these attacks, making it the deadliest terrorist attack in history and by far.
With the conclusion of the attacks came the aftermath. Airplane security and safety regulations shifted greatly to become more strict, and the country was left to mourn.
Or foreknowledge of the attacks, but later came forth and admitted to orchestrating it all. He cited his motives as revenge for the United States continually supporting Israel. He wanted the American people to suffer the same as his people did and hoped an attack would deter continued support for Israel and cutting off ties in the Middle East. Not cool, bro. Talk of shame.
Global War on Terror, better known as just War on Terror, was a global military campaign intended to fight terrorism worldwide and was a direct response to 9/11. Just 3 days after 9/11, on September 14th, the authorization for use of military force against terrorists was made law, which was considered where the War on Terror began. The Bush administration outlined the 5 goals of the War on Terror, which was defeat terrorists and destroy their organizations, identify and locate terrorists and terrorist organizations, end state sponsorship of terrorism, reduce conditions that enable terrorism, and protect U.S. citizens from terrorism home or abroad. It's a lot of terrorism.
Afghanistan was considered a state sponsor for terrorism, and the country was ruled by a political regime known as the Taliban. Not cool. Which harbored members of Al-Qaeda. Also not cool. Although the Taliban didn't directly involve itself in 9/11, it was an open supporter of it. Super not cool. As a matter of fact, the Taliban readily welcomed bin Laden when he moved to Afghanistan in 1996 and gave him a safe haven to carry out his attacks. Really not cool, bro. The Clinton administration knew very well of bin Laden's presence in Afghanistan and tried negotiating with the Taliban to turn in bin Laden, but they did not cooperate. Not cool, bro!
Just days following 9/11, CIA operatives entered Afghanistan and joined the Northern Alliance in the Valley on October 7, 2001. The U.S. officially invaded Afghanistan with Operation Enduring Freedom, a series of British and American airstrikes across al-Qaeda camps. Throughout the rest of the month, the invasion initially saw a lot of success, with the Northern Alliance capturing several key cities. By November, the Taliban lost control of most of Afghanistan, holding mostly on the city of Kunduz.
The US was initially joined by the UK, but dozens of other countries soon would join them. They ousted the Taliban and set up bases, but failed to capture most members of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, who fled to neighboring countries such as Pakistan. On December 20th, 2001, the UN authorized the International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, on Kabul to secure the city. However, the question now came to who would lead the new Taliban-free country. At the Bonn Conference in December 2001, they answered this by appointing Hamid Karzai. They planned to establish a new democracy in Afghanistan with Karzai in charge. In November, bin Laden was in an Al-Qaeda camp in Tora Bora. On November 30th, a battle ensued where the CIA ordered missile strikes on Tora Bora. Although there were Marines, Air Force, and even Special Forces, they weren't deployed, and bin Laden escaped to Pakistan in December. Very few American troops were dead by 2002, while the Taliban suffered hefty losses. Although through this it seemed to be a quick success, the failure to capture bin Laden and refusal to incorporate the Taliban in the new government would slowly set the stage for a prolonged, stringent war, just as bin Laden hoped the war would be. He's getting detention.
The Bush administration began making great changes to organizations to further emphasize the war on terror, but despite the administration's efforts, they wouldn't get to bin Laden during the presidency. In 2008, Barack Obama was elected the President of the United States. During his campaign, he criticized the Iraq War and said he would opt to draw out of the war. Once elected, he didn't exactly follow through with it, though. Obama led an operation and manhunt to assassinate Osama bin Laden, which finally occurred on May 2nd, 2011.
It was a turning moment in the war on terror and a big win for the Obama administration. The Navy SEAL Team 6 carried out the mission in Abbottabad, Pakistan. After years of planning and gathering information through bin Laden's death, felt like justice for many Americans. It wouldn't stop terrorism. New dangers like ISIS, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, started to appear, especially after the US completely withdrew from Iraq in 2011. This showed how complicated fighting terrorism really was, and how difficult national security would become, especially as the new targeted terrorist organizations began to arise. As for the war on terror itself, it has two major wars that came with it, Afghanistan and Iraq.
Success in Afghanistan, the U.S. didn't truly have a goal beyond just capturing leaders for the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. Overall, 9/11 is considered the worst terrorist attack in not only American history, but world history as well, leading to the war on terror and the manhunt and assassination of bin Laden. Despite the brutality of the attacks, it greatly improved on airport security and other safety protocols, helping to prevent many future attacks.